Good afternoon, everybody. I've got my faithful helper here with me, Matthew. He's holding the phone for me so that I could video making these. Now, what I'm doing, this is one of my dryland strategies that I'm talking about and how to help your plants during really dry weather. So what these are is, forgive me if I butcher the name, but they're called Ollas. So basically what it is, these aren't the proper ones. Proper ones are like twice, 3 times, 4 times the size and a slightly different shape. This is a cheap version of it that hopefully will work and keep my trees hydrated. So what you do with them is you basically, this is a unglazed terracotta pot. So you silicone up the hole at the bottom and you silicone together 2 pots, and then once it's cured you stick it in the ground. So yeah, you stick it in the ground and it'll basically weep out water when the ground's dry. When the ground's wet, it won't. And you just pour the water in the top. So yeah, so I'll show you how to do this. So basically this is really good if you're going away and you want to make sure your plants are watered, or if you're in a situation like we are at the moment and we're not getting a lot of rain, or you live in a dryland situation where you don't get a lot of rain. These are a great way to make sure your plants have water so that they don't die. So we'll start off with siliconing the bottom of this pot. So I'm just going to squeeze in the silicone. Do a fairly decent dob down there because you don't want it to leak. So you don't need it to come out the bottom all that far. So it's not super important that the bottom part is all that silicone-y, just so that there's a bit of a plug in there. And next we're going to go around the outside of here and put a decent amount of silicone in here, because this is just going to glue the 2 pots together and become a watertight barrier. Now I did do one a couple of days ago, which I waited until the silicone had cured and then I filled it up with water to test to make sure it was holding the water, which the silicone did a fantastic job of stopping the water from coming out. And after a couple of hours I could actually see water weeping out the side of the pots. Now I've got 10 pots in total, I think, to actually do. So I've got 1 in the ground already, and basically that's all it is. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, I'm probably making this look really messy, so I'm hoping everyone's looking at it going, that's so easy, I can do that, because they can do a better job than I do, and that works for me.
So does that work as glue?
Yeah, it works like a glue, and it holds the 2 pots together. Now I'm just going to smooth around the edge of it. Generally you'd use a wet cloth and to smooth that out nicely, but I'm just using a bit of an old chicken feed bag because this is going in the ground. It doesn't really matter what it looks like.
So you have most of it in the ground and the top bit.
Yeah, you have about that much out of the ground. So you bury it into the ground. And I'll take you over to have a look at the one that I've put in the ground. I probably could have left it out of the ground a little bit more, but I covered it in wood chips. Well, not it. I wood chipped the
Plant.
I wood chipped the plant next to it. So the idea is that it keeps the ground hydrated, so it'll keep the plants hydrated. So yeah, I probably could have put a little bit more silicone in a few places, but that's basically it. So now I'm going to let that cure for a couple of days.
And you put water in through here, right?
Yes. So given the fact that this is a small terracotta pot, ideally it would be better if I'd gotten bigger ones, but these guys were like 5 for $10, and I'm like, sweet, I can do that. So it was a cheap, inexpensive experiment to see how it was going to work, because I'd never actually done this before, and I figured if it didn't work, I'll use the terracotta pots for something else. So yeah, so that's my Olla. And that is one of our dry land strategies. So I will now take this phone off Matthew and go show you. So there's the oiler there, all sealed around there, and I'll check it in a couple of days, along with all the others once I've done them up. So you can't really see anything down there. It's all dark. Yeah, so that's my little oiler pot. It's not real big, but it'll hold a bit of water, and it'll mean that it'll be able to weep the water out and keep the plants more hydrated. So I won't have to water them as often, and the water will actually be getting to the roots where it's needed, not just onto the plants. So I'll take you to show you one that's actually in the garden.
What did you use to glue it together?
Silicone. The silicone, I mean, you could use any water-based silicone, but I'm using a roof gutter silicone because that's what I had in the house. That's what I had available. So anything that's a waterproof silicone sealant, and that will solve it'll join them together nicely. So, yes, let's go look at the one in the ground. Okay, so there's my little oiler in the ground, happily in there. So that little guy is happily just weeping out water. And I'll be able to check how much water's in there by just sticking a dry stick down the hole, and it'll come out and show me where the water level is. So that should keep my little mulberry cutting that I took last year nice and hydrated. That, along with the thick layer of wood chips, I'm planning on actually putting some more around there, just having it low enough so it's not covering the oiler. I probably put the oiler down a little bit too far in the ground, but that hopefully will help that mulberry tree grow nicely, which will create some nice shade for the goats. Laura's just gotten her head stuck. She'll get it out, it's all good. And still no babies. Still no babies.
Come on, Donna, I want my baby friend.
It's all good. It's all good. We've got to be patient. We don't want them to come early. So yes.
What about late?
No, we don't really want them late either. We want them to come right on time. So yeah, so here's two strategies in one, basically, because you've got the oiler in the ground that is putting water into the soil at the root zone of the plant, not up on the leaves. And you've got the thick layer of wood chips that'll hold the moisture in the ground. It'll also cool the ground down as well, so it'll keep the ground cooler, which is better for the microbes and the worms and all that sort of thing in the dirt. So that extra moisture is going to help the soil bacteria and the soil life, and it's just going to really make this boom. And I'll take you along for the ride and the journey on this so you can see how all the trees go. My friend Tyler actually came and dug a heap of holes for me, ready for some trees to go into. So very excited about that. So now I just got to put my oilers together, and then I can stick them in the ground and plant my trees and go from there.
And he got his own YouTube channel.
He does. I think it's Iron Giant. Doesn't have a huge amount up there, but he's only just starting. So yes, but yeah, really grateful for his help. He actually dug the hole for that oiler for me, which was really appreciated, because I just don't get time to do it.
A bit deep though.
He did make it a bit deep, but we weren't sure how deep we needed it to start off with, because I hadn't actually made the oiler and didn't actually show him exactly what he was doing. So he did a really good job considering the information I gave him. So I was really pleased with that. So yeah, I'll just come and top that oiler up I'll check it every couple of days at least, just to see how it's going. And the ground is so dry at the moment that I will probably have to fill it up quite regularly, at least for the first little while, until the soil gets a bit more hydrated. So I really need to put more wood chips around here, because the chickens were here for quite a while. That was one of my Rhode Island red pens. So they were here for quite a while. So I really need to wood chip along that fence, and I want to plant some stuff in there too, but I need to convince the goats to stop eating it. Which is like saying, stop gravity from working.
But then you'd fall upside down.
Yes, and you can't actually stop goats from eating stuff unless you put an exclusion barrier in of some sort, which I can do with the electric fence, which is what I've done over there, and it's saved my neighbour's plants very well. I did actually have a wire coming across here, but it was covering the fence and I needed to get in there, so we had to move it, and I just haven't put it back yet. It's on the to-do list. But yeah, so I need to put wood chips all in this area, because A, it's going to hold the moisture in, B, it's going to stop the weeds. So yeah, and we've got that lovely pile of wood chips so that we can do just that. Anyway, if you've got any comments, questions or suggestions, please don't complain about my pronunciation of the Olla. And I really apologise if I am butchering it. I know I'm butchering it. That's not how you pronounce it. I apologise. But hey, all I'm doing is putting it out there so that people can learn about it. And I'll put the correct spelling in the actual description so that you can search it and Google it. I might even put a link to Jeff Lawton's little infographic that shows you how to do it as well. So yeah, lots of people, this is an ancient technology. People have been using Ollas for tens of thousands of years, especially in desert regions.
Jeff Lawton got this information from Bill Morrison.
Possibly. Your hat's not sitting properly on your head. It looks funny. There we go. Got to have his Bunnings hat. It's all good. He's a good value cameraman. It's a good job. So yeah, that's it. I mean, and the wood chips make it look real nice. Now, some people are really concerned about wood chips stripping nitrogen from your plants. If the wood chips are actually dug into the soil, yes, that can be a problem. But with the wood chips sitting on top, no, it doesn't cause a problem at all. All it does is actually benefit the plants. Like when it rains, that actually becomes like, as the water goes through, it becomes like a compost tea. So it's actually fertilizing the plants every time it rains. When it rains, if it rains. We hope it rains. But yeah, anyway.
Definitely.
Fix that hat up again. There we go. It's a little bit better. Sort of. And I'm not sure how he keeps getting that part down. It's probably because his head's a little bit small for that big hat. But
I like it down there.
He likes it. So that's what we've been doing today. We've been moving wood chips around. We've been digging holes. I've actually been down here with the raspberries. I need to get back to that silicon before it starts to dry out. Naughty me. Get back and do the rest of those Ollas. So I moved a couple of wheelbarrows full of wood chips over here around the raspberries and the Queensland spinach, or the island spinach. So I still need to put heaps more here, because that's going to help hold that moisture in, help fertilise those plants, mostly hold that moisture in, and it's going to add organic matter into the soil as well. And it's going to feed the microbes, feed all the good bacteria, feed all the abundant life that's in the soil. So yes, so I had the chickens along here, so the chickens also fertilised along here. They're still going up there. So yes,
my chicken.
That is Matthew's chicken.
Her name's Lucy. She's the golden one with black on her.
Yes, she's the one that you can see at the moment. And Mr. Cuddles is in there as well.
Cuddles, I love you, Cuddles.
Mr. Cuddles is a very friendly rooster. Very
Like,
friendly rooster.
he's not like the big ones.
Not like the big ones. The big ones are a bit rough. They're a bit aggressive. Although he really likes Lucy. He's been, yes, fertilising Lucy's eggs a lot. Anyway, off topic. So yes, the wood chips are a fantastic way to hold in moisture. And I'll do a whole video on the wood chips as well in the Back to Eden gardening style and all that sort of thing in future videos. But one of the best ways to help protect your gardens at the moment is to mulch it. Do deep mulch. And I probably should pull that away from the roots a little bit more here. But it's not tragic, really. It's not. I haven't had any problems with it in the past, although I've never grown raspberries before. Have grown many other things. Also killed many other things. I wouldn't say I'm a green thumb, but I am a persistent thumb.
Definitely not a green thumb. Most of the plants he grows always dies.
Thanks. That's really encouraging.
But the stuff in the aquaponics doesn't though.
Oh, the aquaponics makes me look good as a gardener. It really does. I love my aquaponics. Although I did have a problem with it the other day.
Celery is exploding out of her ears.
Celery, lots of celery. Spinach, it's going nuts. It's just doing really well. Really pleased about that. But yeah, so that's 2 dry land strategies and 2 strategies to combat moisture loss in your soils and to help feed your soils. But yeah, anyway, have a great day. Any comments, questions or suggestions, leave them below and we'll catch you in the next video. Bless you. Have a great day.
See ya.